It's an incredible time of year. It's Perfect Games All-Star season, and it cranks up in the heart of the heat in August, and it really starts in earnest on the 12th and the 13th of August at East Cobb with the 11 and 12U Select Festival. Let's get to know some of these athletes, how these rosters are made, and kind of get you excited for an amazing time going all the way through Labor Day weekend on behalf of Perfect Game, wrapping up with the 14U Select Festival. More on that in a moment. Let's bring in John McAdams, who is the Northeast cross-checker for Perfect Game, but really one of the main men on the national side of the selection committee for all Select Festival athletes, 11, 12, 13, 14. Johnny Mac, thanks for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Excited to talk to you guys about these rosters.
You work with Jeremy Brown, who a lot of folks in this content sign have gotten to know, the passionate redhead about this space. He's so smart in this area. But there are showcases at the 13 and 14U age group. There are not showcases, and probably shouldn't be, at 11 and 12U age groups. So you guys build these rosters in a very different way. Explain, help us understand.
Sure. Perfect Games created such a big platform from a tournament perspective. Our tournament directors do their due diligence in inviting the best teams, the best players, with the best players on it, to such events as our Super Regional NITs, our National World Series in East Cobb every year, and then we kind of culminate the selection process, do our last looks at the PGI National Championship in South Haven, specifically for this 11 and 12-year-old group. So we kind of started in January with a list of names, watched them throughout the year, and then came to our decisions late July.
I'm going to put my parent hat on, and here's what excites me about what you just said, because you're communicating with the men and women that really are influencing, outside of their parents, these young men, the ones who see them most often. Communication is key, not just with PG leaders, but with the coaches that you trust and respect. Kind of expound upon that communication piece a little deeper.
Sure. Like I said, our tournament directors, guys that are running on the ground every weekend, send me names throughout the season. Hey, make sure you take a look at this guy if you can get eyes on him. And then we kind of see them and go forth in those bigger events, the National World Series, PGI. So you can kind of compare the best guys against the best guys. And then, like you said, they're 11 and 12 years old, so we have to look for certain things in differentiating them to then build the rosters at the end of the day.
All right, I'm excited. The 11U Select Festival, part of an incredible weekend, the 12th and the 13th. It's August 12th at the East Cobb Complex. It's at noon Eastern on Perfect Game TV. So with that in mind, let's start with the 11U. I'm just going to open it up. Some names that you're excited to see play. I may ask them follow-up questions, but I'm all ears now, understanding some of these 11U players.
Sure. First and foremost, we'll start with Christopher Cabrera. Yes, Miguel's son. Kid who we've known for a while now, continues to produce, perform. Just an exciting, has fun in the game every time we see him. So that's going to be a fun to watch. Very eerily similar batting stance to Miguel, so that'll be cool to see. Tyler Early from Louisiana, hitting nearly 700 on the year across all of his events. They play top competition with the Banditos. He's another one. He's going to be up to 75, 78 miles an hour on the mound. From the West squad, you have Bowen Landry, another right-handed pitcher from that Banditos team that won the national championship, up to 77. And then the hulking human being that we call Leland Henry, who's gone viral numerous times, just hitting monstrous homers throughout the season. He's a fun kid to watch, also with his athleticism. Despite his size and everybody saying, oh, he's just big, he's really athletic. He runs, he moves, and stuff like that. Next, we'll go to a pair of New York kids, Jesse Soberall Jr. and Michael Jimenez. Jesse's an absolute hitting machine. He has over 115 hits this year. And Michael Jimenez is a silky smooth infielder that has shown well throughout the circuit as well. And then Kingston George and Christian Cho from the West squad are going to be two arms to watch. Kingston was up to 79 at the PGI, and Christian Cho, California kid, up to 77, and just gets guys out every time he throws.
Yeah, some fun names too, and I love the fact you got like 5 from California. I knew you'd mention those couple of New Yorkers. If not, I was going to ask you about them. You're a Jersey guy, so that's your neck of the woods. Cabrera, his mom is Rose Angel. We want to kind of button up the mom there because everyone's talking about dad. Tyler Early is from Louisiana. He dreams of LSU, but so does Leland Henry, so does Bowen Landry, all hoping to go to LSU. And it's interesting when you look at Landry, I love learning about this athlete. His dad, Jacques, played 8 years of professional baseball and also played at Rice. So there is some fun pro ties outside of Miguel Cabrera. And it usually does happen that way. That you have minor league dads or moms that play college sports. There's so much of that. I think one of the best parts of it, Brett Dolan does the play-by-play of both of those games. Longtime voice of the Astros. Is my favorite part of the broadcast. You get to know these athletes as humans, and so we're really proud of that. We'll introduce all of them as humans. You will now move with me, if you don't mind, to the 12U age group, and I have kind of the same question. Let's peel back some of the athletes you're most excited to see at the 12U age group. Quick reminder, that game is on Sunday, August 13th, 1 o'clock Eastern, East Cobb if you're in the Atlanta area, or if not, on Perfect Game TV. Johnny Mack, take it away, 12U.
Sure. So the overall theme, I think, of the 12U, we have double-digit guys that are going to be upper 70s, low 80s. Crazy athletes and just monstrous bats, and it's really fun to see. A lot of these guys are going to ask, or people are going to ask the question, are these kids going to translate? They're so athletic this year and nowadays that it's going to continue to translate on the bigger field. But we'll get to some names. Trent O'Malley's the one. Going to be up to 84 miles an hour from 50 feet. Yes, 50 feet, 84 miles an hour is really, really hard. We got Noah Jeremolek from South Carolina. Absolute hitting machine. Crazy stats on the year. Over 100 hits, over 100 RBIs. Really athletic, up to 80 miles an hour as well. Great kid, always has fun playing the game. Then we have two guys from the West squad. Jordan Leone, who was the MVP of the PGI National Championship. And then Mateo Victorio. Absolute hitting machine, left-handed stroke, another California kid with regards to the West roster. And then Carter Nash and Trey Lawrence are those athletes that I talk about. They produce every time they're in an event of ours and so forth too, but the athleticism that they just are able to showcase on a day in and day out basis is absolutely ridiculous.
This may be an outlier for me, and this is why I want to ask you about when I see a lot of California, Texas, understandably
Sure.
so. I see a lot of Florida, certainly Georgia. It's such a hotbed. The outlier for me is the state of Washington. I see Cameron Hockett out of the state of Washington, Spokane, Washington. So you're drifting up right there by where Washington State is, or Gonzaga if you're in that part of the state of Washington. Tell us just a little bit, a snippet. I love the outliers when you build rosters like this. How in the world did Cameron Hockett find you, and how did you find him?
Yeah, so Cam Hockett's a repeat guy from last year as well, and he's continued to just progress and get better, deservedly so to be named to the game this year as well. And that kind of goes back, the Washington thing, goes back to the testament of our tournaments and our platform. If you look at the East squad, we have 11 different states, Massachusetts with Carter Jones and stuff like that. So the platform that we're able to create, the tournaments that we're able to have and get these kids all into one place competing against each other just shows the growth of the game and the growth of Perfect Game as it continues to build upon.
Mateo Victorio, his nickname Monster, even though he's 5'5". I think there's a little tongue-in-cheek in that nickname. Trent O'Malley, you spoke about that big arm. He's ZT National and Fielder's Choice, one of his travel teams that he's played for as well. Noah Jeremolek, boy, that's a tough one. Simpsonville, South Carolina. You talked about his big arm. He dreams of going to Vanderbilt, which I can say, Jeremolek. I can say Vanderbilt, certainly. And an interesting note on Jordan Leon that I love, he's at that Braves Baseball Academy, and you guys have that group represented with a handful of athletes from out
Absolutely.
west. You think Braves, you always think Georgia. No, these are West Coast athletes, so that's a fun one. He's out of Northridge, California. Tressa and Jamie are his parents. Man, these are great names. Thanks for letting me pluck a name out of the hat, too. Turned out to be a returning player, and exciting to understand how you've put these rosters together. I can say Jeremolek now. That's a big part of the broadcast that I've learned. And Brett Dolan will have the call excited. Micah Owings, longtime major leaguer, two-way player before Shohei Ohtani, and a Georgian will be the color analyst of that one. Johnny Mack, thank you very much for your insights.
Thank you guys for having me. Looking forward to the games this weekend.
And again, it all kicks off the All-Star Summer Wrap, if you will. It's all through August. August 12th and 13th, the 11U and 12U Select Festival, both of them right around lunchtime Eastern Time from East Cobb, can be seen on Perfect Game TV. Then it's followed up by the Perfect Game All-American Classic the following Sunday at 8 o'clock Eastern. Then back-to-back 13 and 14U Select Festivals, one from Knoxville, Tennessee on Labor Day weekend from JetBlue Park. John McAdams, his insights. My name's Darren Sutton. It's All-Star Summertime. We're putting a bow on these amazing athletes, and we're doing it right around the corner. Enjoy the games.